Okay. It's might be my computer, Laurie. We might have to switch over to yours. I apologize. It's preparing to live stream.
I see something that says live. Hold on.
Okay. Is it live?
Mm-mm. Maybe I just don't.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yes, we're live. I think
Okay, are we live now?
yes.
Okay. Excellent. So hello everybody again. Hopefully, this is Terry Jones,
Oh wait, yes,
and we are going to be doing Explore Mixed Media today. We're going to be doing some negative painting. So what I've done is I have this little owl that I've used before for another project, and I'm just kind of trying to see. I see Corrine is using
I'm
a
using
stencil,
a
but
stencil
I'm
and I'm
going to
just
use
kind of
this and just
outlining
try
it.
to, uh-huh, that's another way that I've done it before. Um, so, but for me, I'm just using this little owl guy that I've done before in gel play printing. So I'm going to use him. And then I'm going to take it off and I'm going to find him because I think that he's going to fit like right here, and I might make him just a little bigger. Just a little bigger, and kind of find my owl here because I have this. So I'm going to find an owl, and I plan on using um, this sketch to just I'm kind of I like his eyes this here and this here for and I just kind of start from there, and I'm going to just sketch him in ever so slightly. Not a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of sketch him in, and his ears go kind of like this. And then he swoops down and comes back up. And he's sitting a little sideways. And so I'm just kind of using what I have. And this is his eye. There's a big heart around his, I like that. And then I'm going to make him fat. I like him to be, comes in and then he gets a little fat and comes in and gets a little fat. And I got this fat little owl, and I'm going to put him on a branch because I've decided this is a tree. And then he's going to get some feet in here. But that's going to be later. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to take this kind of and start negative painting around where my owl is.
So when you say making a painting around where your owl is, you mean you're kind of
I'm,
sketching it so you can
yeah, I'm
see it or
sketching my owl in, and then I'm going to use, for the top, I think I'm going to use a green, but I'm going to use it very lightly so that it will, I'm going to use this is, I think it's an olive light. But what I want to do is I want to use, so I see this as a tree here, and I see my owl in the forest. And so I am going to make this area up here look hopefully forest-like by using my my green to come in and kind of define where my owl is. So I can take this, I don't want it to be super, for me, I don't want it to be super not transparent because I like the look of the forest, like it's almost a forest back there. So when I look back at my reference thing of the owl, he's got this kind of roundish thing. So I'm going to just go back.
So
And
we're doing negative painting,
we're
right?
doing negative painting. That's what we're doing. So we're painting around the objects. So I will do very little in the way of painting for the owl itself. There's not going to be a whole lot of.
And we're using backgrounds that we created previously. So we didn't have to wait for them to dry. This is fun.
I'm putting a little bit of modeling paste. That's not what I wanted.
That'll be interesting.
Right. Why is my stuff coming out quite that way? We got a little bit of lighter color happening here. But trying to, it's not being
Yeah, Terry, you're breaking up a little bit. I think you're
100% successful for me, and I should have done. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Breaking up on, I don't know. So if I can pull this owl out here and just put this background in and use these swirls and pieces as if it's part of the background, then I can end up with my little owl. Looks very ghoulish. I didn't do a very good job of my owl. I should have done my first thing, which I was going to do like Kareem did with making a stencil. I was going to make a mask, but I didn't.
either way works good. I just
It does.
I didn't have any of my stencils out, so I just hand drew some little flowers, and that's what I'm working with for this extra.
Oh, that'll work nicely too.
Yeah.
And if I kind of get my owl too cockeyed, I can always go back in and fix him a little more because I think I'm going to end up negative drawing this little branch that the owl's sitting on. So I've got a little branch in here too. And then I may end up using some of a little bit of calligraphy to kind of finish the owl, or I may just collage a little bit on the owl.
Collage or doodle, I love that.
Collage or doodle or do something because I've got my owl a little less than perfectly made, but it's saying funky owl.
You know, it's funny. I've never done this technique. This is the first time.
Really, I love negative painting, which I do a lot,
Yeah, yeah. It's
but
cool.
it is very cool. So, oh yes, yours looks fabulous, Laurie. See,
Oh, how lovely.
it is. It's quite
That's
lovely.
pretty.
Thank you.
And I can take more colors into my negative painting too. But the biggest thing that I wanted to do is I liked some of I saw an owl in here. And so I wanted to bring the owl out. I saw the eyes. So now I may want to go in and work a little more. I think that my mistake is that I ended up with not the right shape right here. Yeah, that's where I ended up. So I'm gonna just kind of give him a little more shape there. And then I'm going to kind of play with his eyes a little bit. And his, that goes there. And that one might need to come out just a little bit there. So now I'm editing my owl a little bit because I wasn't too perfect, but that's okay. It's starting to look a little better. And he's going to be sitting on this branch here. And the other thing that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to tone just a little bit part of, really kind of looks like a, isn't it? I probably don't need to tone it. I was thinking I was going to put just a little bit of beige in it. Laura, yours is just so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, you, Corrine. I love yours too.
Oh, thanks. I was listening to the birds singing this morning and I was like, okay, it's going to be birds.
That's
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
Okay.
I'm still working on mine from last week here.
That's exactly what I'm working on is mine from last week.
Well,
you
the one
know?
I'm working on right now is not from last week, but I'm just saying I'm still working on it. So like
Oh, okay.
my focal point and everything, but I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
in my journal. So I'm trying to, I don't know. Wow.
Okay. So my owl, I think, needs a little more oomph, but I like the surrounding area around it, and I may end up let me bring this in a little more like this. So he's a little more. My owl looks a little strange, but I think maybe I just need to decide. So I don't always just negative paint. So that's the other thing. A lot of times I see what I see in a painting and then I'll start negative painting it, but I will also do some positive painting in it, which I think that I am going to think of doing right now in that I got to get those eyes looking right so that I can have his little, put his little nose in there. So I'm going to use just some black and white to get his eyes looking right. Because once I get his eyes looking right, I think the guy will look a little more like he's an owl.
Yeah. I think when you're doing something like that, definitely. And I love
Right.
owls. I like that you chose that one.
I've always liked this little. So here is his owl eye here, and here is his owl eye here. So now he's beginning to look a little more like an owl. And then I'm going to, because this is just, this guy is black. Oh, then I'm going to go in the modeling paste. Okay, that's not where I wanted to go.
You're gonna have to do something with that modeling paste today because it's calling your name.
I know it is
Right.
calling my name. I know it's like, oh, and then I'm going to put a little more around because their eyes are really big. And so I'm going to put a little more around here and I'm going to put a little more around here. So now to me, this guy's looking a more like an owl. And he's got probably a little nose. So I can put a little bit of shading in around, where's his ears? His top here. I got a little bit happening here. I'm just painting a little bit more in here for his feathery top. Okay, now he's starting to look like an owl. Now I'm painting a little more here as his body, and then I'm going to leave his wings. So we'll see how that goes. Let's paint a little bit of body in here, and let's paint a little bit of body in here. And then I've got these lovely wings in here, and I'm going to paint a little wing in here. So now he's starting to look more like Mr. Owl. Not perfect. I think I'm going to give this owl black ears, though. I think he needs to have some black in his, or whatever these are. I don't know what they are in the owl, but I'm gonna just
Hey,
do
Terry,
that.
have you had a chance to check out the inspo wheel on the website?
I haven't been able to get onto the website, Laurie. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Oh, okay,
I
Yeah.
haven't been able to get to that wheel, Lori.
okay. But can you get onto the site, Corinne?
Yes,
Corinne can get on the site, I can't. So that's an afterwards.
It's in the course, it's called inspo.
I just get we can talk about it. I just get a page not found.
Okay,
That's what I kind
Could
of
be
get
me.
too. It always could be me. Okay. So now I've got my little owl here, and I'm going to start toning some of the other colors just a little bit. Oh, isn't that pretty, Corinne?
Thank you.
And I'm going to put his little feet
It's too
on this
dark down here.
tone piece. I may have to try if I'm going to host this, Laurie, I may have to try to set it up in my studio because I think one of the problems is that I just don't have enough web
Bandwidth.
bandwidth at the house.
yeah,
So I can do that. I can set up in the studio, but I just have to know ahead of time and reserve a room, literally reserve a room in the studio. So I think I'm going to try to do that from now on when I'm hosting, because this is just crazy how it's just not working very well for me. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, and then I worry so much about getting on that I'm not prepared because it won't go on for me. So I apologize to all the others, but that's kind of where what happens with me. So what I'm doing right now is just putting a thin glaze over where I'm considering this to be my tree, and doing just a little bit of calligraphy to make this into a tree, so that this owl looks like it's making a little bit of sense where he's sitting, and he's pretty funky. But again, this is in my sketchbook, so this is a place where I explore. So when I'm not having, I learn more sometimes by not having success than I learn by having it work perfectly for me. And I will tell you guys that a lot of times when you look at some of my videos, I've tried it 3 times before I video it for you. So it's not something that is going to happen the first time you try the process. It's not, or at least for me, it doesn't. I'm not. And I think that for most of us, that's what we do. We're not miracle workers. We just kind of,
right. And the best way to learn is by doing, jumping in.
and sometimes the best way to learn is by making mistakes, because I had difficulty getting on. I was initially planning on cutting this owl out and making a template like Corinne kind of did.
Mhm.
And I couldn't get online, and then I freaked out. So,
Yeah,
and that happens to all of us, I think.
yeah.
So I'm going to put his little feet in here and put his little feet in here. And I am going to add just a little bit of more lines around his eye. So this isn't my best attempt, but it's been an interesting attempt. And I think that we all have to realize that a lot of times that's what happens to us, that we're not, we're trying, when we try things, they don't absolutely perfectly work at every every time. Is this dry yet? So, but I need to put more. I think this owl's going to end up with a bit of a side eye here. Oh, what happens
Get a
here?
side-eyed owl.
I got a side-eyed owl. He's kind of looking a little weird, but that's okay. I want him to come a little.
Weird. And you said he was funky, so he's the
He
funky.
is definitely a funky owl. Definitely a funky owl here. And he needs what color is the funky owl's beak? Are they colored or well, I don't want to really introduce too many more colors into this. So maybe the funky owl is going to go a little have a dark brown beak. So he's going to get a little beak thing happening right here. Woo! Hello! Woo, woo, woo. I know, I'm crazy, but now he looks much more like an owl. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give him a little bit of tiny bit of color around his wings, which are going to be right here. Just a tiny bit of color around his wings. And whoops, I made too much color there, but that's okay. Bring him down here. Maybe gray him out. So things I've learned. When you haven't, I'm also used to, so I'm not used to working that much in my in my book here as much as we've been doing. So I forget that if I hadn't, this one was one that I didn't gesso beforehand. So I forget that that might present a few problems.
Yeah.
Because it just sucked everything up because all I did, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep on working here. Actually, I don't hate this owl. He's pretty funky, but I like the funkiness. I like the funkiness. I need a little more funkiness in my life. I'm gonna put some white in it and make some designs in it. So the other thing that I frequently do after I negative paint things, well, I may need a little bit more black on this branch here, just a little. So the other thing that I might do is just add a few little textures in it. And he looks like a scaredy owl. Add a little. He does look a little frightened, but that's okay. I'm gonna give his beak a little more beakiness, and I'm gonna give him a little, and I'm gonna give him some, oops, too wet. Okay. Hit my first. So why I was having problem with that piece of paper underneath, it wasn't, oh, I love yours, Lori. Oh, green, yours is lovely too. See?
Oh, thank you.
So why I'm having problem with the paper underneath is this is tissue paper. So it just sucked everything up. So I'm going to have to wait till it totally dries before I put the rest of my bee in here. Can't do it.
Okay, now we need some positive painting.
Started 7 minutes late. Kind of fixing my eye a little bit. So what are you finding out, Laurie, for your first time?
Well, I think that I would like to use a light, a more fluid background. I used just regular Liquitex. I think I would have like to use like a more fluidy or water it down a little bit more so I get more of the background showing through. And then I also learned that I really need to keep my X-Acto blade nearby. It disappeared because I was gonna put this washi tape down in the center in geometric shapes, but you know what?
Yeah, I like that.
I like it too, but I'll just use a black Sharpie and put some designs in there, I think. Like,
Yeah,
or you know,
well,
how about Posca pen? There we go.
yeah. Well, I think yours looks fabulous. And a lot of times when I'm doing it on that much color, I will use acrylic ink.
Yeah, that would have been
So if you
right
use
there
either,
next to me too. I don't know why I didn't, but I did.
yeah,
I thought I needed something to kind of block it, really block it out. And it turns out that I prefer it not as blocked out, but that's okay. I still like what I'm doing. I don't hate it.
right. Well, when you want something all the way blocked out, it's really, that's why I tried to put a little bit of white there because I had a block out that I had to make over here. And if you put white in something that's semi-transparent, because I used a semi-transparent acrylic color so that allowed it to come through. It looks like Corinne, you used a semi-transparent too, and now you're putting on
Yes.
opaque on top
And
of
I'm
it.
doing positive painting.
Right. So, so I could, if I want to do some more positive painting in here, which I'm not sure I do, but let's try putting something, another branch. So I can put another branch in there, but then I can use either something that's totally opaque, or I can take the color I already have and make it opaque with white. So I could put a leaf or two in here that will differentiate because they are have white in them. Or if I want, some more um, like leaves coming up from this guy, I could do this and then do whatever I want to attach it. So I can fill in space. Like right here, it got too dark because I made a mistake, but I could put a white in there and a little bit of white. And I also like this because it almost makes it look a little, if you just do circles, it'll make it look a little, what do they call it? Bokeh.
Mhm.
So it ends up with more interest too in it. I also tend to make them a little darker around the edges, but that's just what I do. So I might just fade out this edge in here to bring the focus and have not as much contrast around the edges, simply to bring the focus in to my little owl here. So, but I'm pretty happy. I'm not 100%, but I have to let it dry I'm going to put some feathers in him and I'm going to work on the eye a little bit more, but it needs to dry a little bit. I love your color combination.
Yeah, that's
Who,
not.
me or Lori?
Both of you.
Oh,
Lori's it was really brilliant to put the little black circles on. I really
Yeah, and
your color.
I want to smudge out my edges here on but my paint's still a little wet. So, because I have used the General's pencil that you can
oh
smudge.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna do that probably around my bird, but I can't do that till everything's dry.
Exactly. So that's the same here.
I like that charcoal pencil.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is it, in case anybody's wondering. And also invest in some white erasers.
Mm-hmm.
I use them a lot if I draw with pencil, or for a lot of different things. They don't leave a residue behind.
Right.
Fun. I gotta add something else to it. There's just too much white there for me. Did you stop, Terry?
Yeah, it stopped. Terry's gone.
Okay.
Hopefully, oh, she's coming back.
Okay. I don't might may have been done. This I've got to invite her.
You're with us. We just can't see you.
But I'm not sure whether we're still connected to YouTube. I think we
Yeah, we are.
disconnected.
We're still there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it crashed on my end,
Yeah.
but evidently because I'm on the Zoom, internet Zoom, it stayed up.
Yep.
So it stopped recording on my end, but we're done anyway because it's 11:35.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Very fun, Terry.
I think
Thanks for leading us in. This is a fun one.
I love this technique and it's one of my favorite. It's actually what the project is, has a lot of negative painting in it too. So we'll make sure we get that project up for everybody.
And for anybody else, if you don't know about
And
Explore Media,
yeah,
you can check it out at exploremixmedia.com. And we do monthly sessions, and you could join and participate with us in our private sessions, and also continue to watch here live every Friday morning at 11 a.m.
yeah, please join us live and check out the Explore Mix Media. There's a lot for your money if you join, and the first month is free, right? Right, Lori?
Well, the first month was the end of March, is almost over. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's only $7 a month, so it's money.
Yeah. Money well spent. Yes, very much. Okay, and I keep on breaking up. So let me make sure that I am off of YouTube